Welcome back to the show, folks. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly, and this is our first review. Dark Side of the Ring Season 5 has kicked off, starting off with the Ballad of John Tenta, otherwise known to us fans as Earthquake. He's right here with me on this episode. But yeah, this was an interesting one. Strange one again, and we spoke about this last season a couple of times as well, as to whether stories like this belong in a dark side of the ring. Is a bit dramatic for it, really, because this is really a tale of kind of a little bit of tragedy, really, in terms of a father who pined for more time with his family and his wife, but unfortunately in the career that he had chosen in pro wrestling, he wasn't given enough time. The schedule, we know, was horrific. How many episodes have we watched on that? How many documentaries, shoot interviews, previous wrestlers and stuff, how their marriages and their relationships and their families all fell apart because they simply weren't around. And this is definitely the definition of that. Now, obviously, it takes a twist as well in terms of the cancer and how he kind of, maybe he was a little bit in denial of it and stuff like that, left it too late to go get treatment. And unfortunately, it tragically took his life. Very sad scene, of course, there with the family around the bed and stuff like that, and the daughter and the sons all talking about their goodbyes. And, you know, even to this day, you know, how tough it is to talk about that kind of thing. What came out of it, you could really see the true love between himself and his wife, and how she pined to have him around more and stuff like that, which was really nice to see. Again, not showing it really as a dark side of the ring and stuff like that. It was really that tale of a family that just pined and wanted to be together, really, you know, to the point where he moved them down to Florida so they could have more time. He moved on from WWF and went to WCW to get a reduced schedule, but of course the booking was crap and he was used badly, like so many wrestlers that went there. But yeah, it kind of kicks off, and of course you get the Earthquake and going into his background and how he was in the sumo side of things in Japan and stuff like that, revered in Japan. You get Haku talking about him. I thought Haku was brilliant in this episode, to be honest. I thought we seen a real, dare I say, human side of Haku. So shout out to Haku on this one. But you see how they propelled into stardom as well, and how he teamed up with Fred Ottman. Typhoon became the Natural Disasters. Certainly left their mark on the business, no doubt about that. But quite a short-lived reign in terms of being at the top of the business. And the business was going through many changes at that stage. A lot of really talented, good tag teams coming through. And we were starting to shift, there I say, into an era where it wasn't necessarily just a big man sport. It was starting to evolve. But these two boys were outstanding, and especially John Tenta. For a big man, the way he could move around the ring and the stuff he could do was absolutely outstanding, which isn't something that you see every day with big men. Sometimes they tend to be a little bit sort of clunky in the ring and stuff like that, but this guy could probably work with anyone. He was, as they say, a natural in there in the ring, hence the name, the Natural Disasters with Typhoon. But they were absolutely brilliant, propelled into stardom and stuff like that. Felt like they should have had a longer reign up there at the top side and stuff like that. But like I said, the business was changing direction a little bit, and they both decided to move on. And then we know, obviously, that scene where Fred Ottman has the Shockmaster, comes through the wall, trips, goes flying on his ass, and the mask goes flying and stuff like that. And it was real. When you look back at those things now in WCW, they were so cheesy and stuff like that and all. And, you know, to this day, it's just crazy that they look at it. But Haku had said he had never seen it, which was gas and funny to hear. And when he watched it, just the laughter out of Haku coming right from the bottom of his stomach right up through and all was hilarious. He couldn't stop. And there was even laughing in the background, and they were laughing at Haku laughing, which I thought sort of, it kind of brought a little bit back on the episode and stuff like that, you know. So very much an interesting an episode to kick off season 5. But I think this is going to be an interesting season insofar as maybe Dark Side of the Ring. That title is probably a stretch in this season, maybe, especially with Earthquake kicking it off. Jericho again with the narrative was pretty good to hear. He really sets the scene on some of this stuff, and it was interesting to hear like Fred and Jerry Saggs as well, who was involved from the Nasty Boys as well, talking about how the boys didn't get involved in the partying and the drinking. They certainly enjoyed the grub, which we can obviously tell, but They used to really go to the hotel rooms and they'd share stories about family and all that kind of stuff. And it really came true that John was really a family man and stuff like that. You can tell by his kids and stuff like that how they cherished the time they had with him at home, and so did he as well. So yeah, an interesting one to kick off the season. Just these short reviews will be coming to you and stuff like that. Let's see what happens on the next episode. Let's see, do we find an episode in here in this season that actually warrants the name Dark Side of the Ring. And I suppose the other title on this led you to believe that it wasn't going to be like the Ballad of John Tenta. Kind of led us to believe really it wasn't going to be anything kind of dark side and stuff like that. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know your thought about this one. Certainly a big man who left his name on the business. Certainly one that people generally coming into me in the store are interested in. They did release his figures and stuff like that and all, and they were well received, and most people will be putting them in their collection. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video, and let me know what your thoughts were on the Ballad of John Tenta, Dark Side of the Ring, kicking off season 5. Cheers.